This shit sounds crazy from the comments. Like, I'll try not to read them like fully, just so then like there's still some like whoa shock value. Things are looking up now. Right, y'all, welcome in. I'm Stevie.
I'm Savannah.
It's another day where we sit here and read some crazy ass stories that we found on the internet. I got one today from Reddit Unexplained from user Infinite Beginning 87. Shout out you. It says someone just started immediately bad. All right. When I was a little boy of around 8 years old, now I'm a 31-year-old man, my mom took me to a kid's pool party. One of her friends, it was a weird. This dude's commas and punctuation are stupid, so I might have to. It's gonna be weird and patched together because I'm gonna go back and edit this shit and take some of this shit out because it's weird. What are you talking about? My mom took me to a kid's pool party. It kind of did make sense. Okay. Shout out you, dude. Gotta get it light-hearted, you know. Okay. When I was a little boy of around 8 years old, now a 31 male, my mom took me to a kid's pool party. One of her friends had twin girls around the same age, and it was their birthday that day. My memories of that day aren't abundant. I don't remember every detail of what happened. However, the things I do recall aren't blurry at all. The moments I remember are crystal clear. We got to the pool where the twins and other kids were, and I remember my mother started talking with the other moms at the party while I played in the pool with the other kids. There were many things at the party, like inflatable castles for jumping, tables full of food and drinks, and a little park with slides and such that just couldn't keep my eyes off of. It was like the park had something special, though I didn't know what. I couldn't stop looking at it. I was drawn to it. Some kids from the party were playing there, and it was meant for the party to use as if it were part of the pool area, though it wasn't very close, probably 60 feet away or so. Kids were constantly running back and forth, but then again, we were all just kids having fun. I remember swimming a little more, and then I couldn't help it anymore. I had been kind of resisting, but I had to go to the park. I needed to know what it was that made the park so interesting to me. So I just headed there as if I had a call for it. When I got to the park, there were slides. There were these slides. And without much thought, I just climbed up and went down the biggest slide there was. It wasn't too tall, but for an 8-year-old kid, it was fun, you know? Well, after I slid down for some reason, I just didn't move. I stayed there, sitting at the end of the slide. Why? I don't know. After 30 seconds or so, I looked up, and there was this really big fat kid getting ready to slide down, not caring at all if I was there or not. You ever been in that situation where you got a fat motherfucker right behind you and they don't care?
No.
And needless to say, them fat fuckers slide down fast. They got a lot of weight on them.
Yeah,
Get the
I
fuck
can
out the way.
imagine.
Okay, so fat kids coming at them. Don't get me wrong, I wasn't too skinny myself. I don't know how that life. I am. I ate well and all, had a tummy and everything, but this kid was really fat, like very obese. You could say the thought of him sliding down and hitting my back was scary. And yet for some reason, I still didn't move. I stayed. Hold your ground. That's a life lesson you should learn from this kid right here, 8 years old. Hold your ground.
I don't know. That's scary.
Punch him in the jejunum when he comes down, he'll throw up. You're automatically the coolest kid on the playground.
Yeah,
You can
that's
punch kids and
facts.
make them throw up. Cool.
That's facts.
Okay, so fat kids come in. He didn't want to move. And off he went, sliding down at top speed. And I just stayed there, waiting for him to hit me. I still remember all of it. And I can't think of a reason why I didn't move, really. But anyway, he hit my back, and as soon as he did, I remember blacking out. Not the kind of blackout you faint from being hit, but more like everything went black after that. I couldn't see shit. Just gone. That man,
God
he
damn.
got hit so hard his vision was gone. Then, all of a sudden, in the blackness, I opened my eyes and I was in a room, in my bed, in my usual sleeping position. But I couldn't move at all. I was only able to move my eyes. I remember hearing things happening outside my bedroom and tried to speak, but I couldn't open my mouth or vocalize my thoughts. I could only move my eyes a little. I was having sleep paralysis, but I didn't know it at the time. I only learned about sleep paralysis and what it was after I turned 14. So back then, I didn't think too much of it. I just thought I had a weird dream and went back to sleep. LOL.
Hmm.
Yeah, strikes home, don't it?
Yeah, a little too much.
Okay, so yeah, I went back to sleep, you know? So anyways, after sleeping a bit more, I woke up like normal, but what happened was way too weird to let go. Was it all a dream or did it actually happen? To me, it felt way too real. So I remember starting to ask my mom questions about quote unquote the fat kid who hit me on the slide. She was like, "Man, what fat kid?" And I said, "From the party." She replied, "What party?" And I said, "From the pool." And she said, "Bro, what pool?" Like the whole thing, his mom don't know nothing. Or Truman Show. I don't know.
I don't know. It could have been part of the sleep paralysis. I was doing my little. It said that hallucinations and stuff like that is part of it.
With shit, lucid hallucinations.
Maybe.
I can see it. Okay, so at that point, I was kind of used to my mom not listening too closely to me or paying deep attention to things I said. I remember she would dismiss a lot of my ideas very quickly because I was just a kid and I really let my imagination run wild a lot of the time. I would say things that adults usually considered weird or just a product of a kid's imagination. So I let my imagination loose there and thought to myself that what happened at the pool and all that had actually happened a year ago. And when I was hit on the slides, I fell into some kind of coma for a year. I believed I had just woken up there in my bed a year later. I know, I told you, my imagination was wild when I was a kid. So that's wild. He thought he just. Do you remember anybody ever told you I'm gonna hit you so hard you're going to next week?
Yeah, my mom used to tell me that when I was a kid.
That ability might be real. That fat kid hit him so hard, he went a full year in the future. So there I was, 8-year-old me thinking I was actually 9 years old. I remember for 3 whole days I would tell everybody that I was 9. Why 3 days? I'll get to that in a bit. But I remember very vividly that my mom would get really embarrassed because we'd meet somebody on the street and they'd ask me about my age. My mom would say, "Oh, he's 7 or he's 8," and I would correct her saying, "Mom, I'm 9." I can even remember her being embarrassed by all that and the smirk she used to make when I said it. Thinking about it now, it's actually quite a bit funny to me. Me too. That's funny. Because every single person that you met thought your mom was a horrible mother.
It is funny, but I mean, think about it though, being that young, that's kind of traumatizing.
Yeah, 100%. 3 days went by, and I was still convinced I was 9, even though my mom and other family members kept telling me I was 8. I really thought they were dumb because they didn't seem to realize that I had lived through a whole year in a coma. And on the third day, my mom says, "Hey, we're going to the pool today. So get ready." I didn't think too much of it and went to grab my usual swimming gear, got ready, and off we went. When we arrived at the place, I got out of the car and had this odd feeling that I remembered the place, but still, nothing seemed too strange. As we walked further and started seeing the pool, the same one from the story, I began noticing the inflatable castles and tables, and that's when things started really feeling odd. But I was there, just going with the flow. Then it happened. My mom went to greet the twins' mother, and in the exact same scene from my dream, or not dream, or whatever the weird experience was, started unfolding. I kid you not, the exact same scene. My mom saying the same words, introducing me to the twins' mom, then introducing me to the twins. The same party was going on, the same things, the same people, the same everything. It was like I was experiencing the same thing for a second time. The tables were the same, the inflatable castle, even the kids were doing the same things. And the park, let's not forget about the park. It was right there in the same spot, and I couldn't help but keep my eyes off of it. Just writing this down tears me up because it's such a weird, vivid thing in my mind. And there I was, enjoying the party again. The same things were happening, but it wasn't just a similar but it wasn't just similar. No, the exact same things were happening. The twin girls said the same things to me. Some other kids were doing the exact same things, jumping into the pool the same way. And there was the park that I couldn't stop looking at. It was happening again. I was scared of the park at that point for some weird reason. I couldn't get it out of my sight or my mind. Deep down, I didn't want to go there, but when the time came, I just stood up just like before and walked to the park the same way, at the same speed. When I got there, I looked at the park the same way I did before, and then I climbed up the biggest slide just like before and slid down.
I don't know why he would do that if he knows what happens. You know what I mean?
Maybe he just saw the future.
And and yeah, that can happen. I've heard about a lot of people doing that. Hopefully this time he moved.
I hope not. I hope he didn't. We're gonna see though. So, slid down the slide. When I was down there, I waited patiently, and after about 30 seconds or so, I looked up, and there he was, the fat kid, just carelessly getting ready to slide down and ram me. Still, to this day, I don't know why. If I knew he was going to slide down, I didn't just move. I really don't. But I stood there, and the fat kid just launched himself down, and off he came.
Jesus.
Then, boom, he hit my back with his feet and all of his weight. Only this time, there was no blackout. I just started feeling the pain in my back, and I began crying, like any kid would being hit, you know? I bolted off crying to my mom and to tell her what happened. I remember she was paying more attention to her conversation with her friend rather than the fact that I was crying, which was a bit usual for her. She tried to calm me down, and after the pain wore off, I went back to the pool to relax and just kind of play it cool. I remember that I started thinking about what just happened, and right then and there, I knew I wasn't 9 years old. That's for sure. So I shrugged those ideas off. I started thinking to myself that I had indeed let my imagination run too far wild. In my mind, I thought that when the fat kid hit me, I would black out again, but this time, I would somehow be able to experience my 1 year coma, like actually knowing what I went through instead of just waking up a year later. Just kids' reasoning, you know. But since it didn't happen, I realized it was just with the wild imagination. Days passed by and I started forgetting about it, then months and then years. I basically stopped talking about it at all, which brings me to today. I'm now married, been married for 3 years, and my wife and I, over the last couple months, have been talking a lot about our past, sharing stories and whatnot. The story came up, and I told her what I experienced. She was very interested in it and said there was more to it than I cared to acknowledge. She's convinced that there's something to analyze and discover from the whole thing. So she told me to post it here and see if someone knows about or see knows something or has experienced something similar. Maybe share the story if that's the case. Any information you have that would lead us to an answer would be great. I might add that since I stopped talking about this for more than half my life, I forgot whether my dream or not dream and the sleep paralysis happened before or after the real birthday party. It was all really mixed up in my head. The story was initially about the sleep paralysis that I didn't know was sleep paralysis. So my wife told me to call my mom and ask questions about those times to see if we could pick up on something. So I called my mom and asked her about it. She didn't remember much about me from those times, other than the fact that I did say weird things from time to time, which she just thought was my imagination. She also remembered that I used to say I was 9 when I was actually 8. She said that I always wanted to be older than I really was, and that was something that stood out about my personality. Then I asked her, "But do you remember my friend who had twin daughters around my age?" She said, "Yeah." And I asked, "Do you remember a birthday party at a pool?" She said, "Yeah, I remember that day. What about it?" Then I asked, "Do you remember anything weird or that stood out about me that day?" She responded, "The only thing I remember that weirded me out was that I introduced you to my friend and the twins for the first time in your life. I knew you didn't know them at all, but when I introduced you to the twins, you said to me, 'Yeah, Mom, I already met them before. They're my friends.'" Got goosebumps from writing that final part. So that confirmed for me and my wife that I, in fact, did experience the dream before the real life event. Could that be connected to the sleep paralysis somehow? I don't know, but please do share any insight you might have as well. If I am interested in getting to the bottom of this. If you have any questions, I can answer them too. Comments, like main comments on it. Reading through this, the one thought that came to my mind was quantum immortality. Maybe you actually died the first time the fat kid hit you, and you just respawned at an earlier point, like you would in a video game when you would die. Like your spirit team on the other side were like, "Oh crap, you're not supposed to die here. Quick, load a previous save."
I don't even know what to say to any of that. That's just crazy.
There's one, sounds a little clairvoyant to me. Definitely deja vu. Did the twins remember you? Did anyone else remember that day? Also, why didn't you move to the second go round? He even explained to that. I don't know why. You even when I was reading, it, were like, what? If you know it's coming, why didn't you move? What if it was your death and you were given a second chance to redeem yourself and you didn't, but the universe gave you a second mulligan and let you continue your life? Either way, I definitely think you should have got up from that slide. Yeah, but come on, dude. Like,
Yeah, if you got a second chance, you should have
right?
moved.
Hope he responded, well, the twins played in the pool with me and the other kids as if we were all friends, so I didn't think of asking anything like that to them or to anyone else. I just acted like in the dream. The only different thing is that the second time around, I knew what was going to happen because I already saw it. I don't know. It's a weird feeling. Like, of course, I wanted to do something different, like moving from the slide, but I really just don't know why I couldn't. Which it might have been predestined. Like, it might have already been. Like, if he's already having sleep paralysis at night, what's not saying that someone's keeping him from moving from the slide?
That's true.
Yeah, I don't know. Crazy shit. Crazy shit. Dude saw his future in advance, and
That's a wild one.
that one was wild. I don't know. That one's crazy. That one, leave in the comments what the fuck you think that was. See anything, had any experiences like that shit, because it's true. It's crazy.
Our next story comes from r/bad roommates from a private account. I clean up after my horrible alcoholic. It's really wearing me down, not gonna lie. This is tidy compared to usual, and I had already spent 20 minutes cleaning up when I took. So, just for context, I'm back living at home after graduating university, and my older brother, who's 30, has been living here the whole time I was away. So, my mom has been cleaning up after him instead. I don't want my mom to have to come down every morning to spend an hour or more cleaning up brother's late night binge sessions, alcohol, weed, where he leaves the place in a mess. I'm always up really early to run anyway, so after I get home from running or before I leave, depending on the time, I tidy or clean up after him before my mom comes down to see it. I think the whole situation is absurd, and I told her over and over again she's just enabling his behavior. But he's a violent, unpredictable person, and she's told me flat out that she's afraid of him in some ways. And she also has some antiquated beliefs about a woman's role in the house, sadly. I completely understand because the last time I suggested he should clean up after himself and not leave it for a 60-year-old mom to do, he threw a plate at my head, lol. I'm sorry, but why is this guy still living there? The only time I'm in the house and not in my room is when I'm cooking dinner, and he will come in and smoke weed right beside me and shouts at me when I tell him to smoke it outside. I feel like I'm banging my head against a brick wall, not gonna lie, and I'm the only one who seems to see how fucked up the entire situation is. Please give me some validation that this is fucked because I feel like I'm going slightly insane.
Yeah, no, there's absolutely no reason, especially if you're living at home with your 60-year-old mom at that point. You should be able to clean up after yourself. Like, I get it. If you got a room, like, go ahead, keep your room, whatever. But, like, common living areas, dude, have some respect.
Yeah, this is just outrageous.
Second point, though, why she gonna be yelling at her mama about enabling shit, but then she's gonna sit there and enable?
Exactly. She's doing what her mom was doing. I don't
But, I mean, it makes sense because you don't want to have your fucking old mom sitting there cleaning up after her.
I
She got her
mean,
own shit to
yeah,
do.
but if you're gonna be bitching at her about enabling him, don't do that.
These are facts as well. These are facts as well. Those pictures are disgusting. I'm not even gonna lie. They played up on the earliest thing for y'all. But like, I mean, it's not horrible though. I'm not gonna lie.
But you gotta think about it, that's after 20 minutes of cleaning already. And we don't know what it was like before that because, like she said, he does cocaine and
Um,
all this other stuff. You don't know where the fuck he does the cocaine at. It
which
could
is true.
be, you've seen the movies and how all those people are with the cocaine and the things. They go crazy with it.
That's true.
I know it's just movies, but like,
That's true. I personally know a few cokeheads, and they're not like the dirtiest people. They're usually kind of just moving really fast and do a lot of shit. Like they'll clean pretty fast. I've seen them do some work. Unless you're moving weight, I think that's when it gets to the point where it's like, oh,
I
if
don't
you're
know.
selling cocaine,
I knew
weird.
a few pretty dirty ones.
That makes sense. I
And
know if you're dirty.
that was working at
But
Burger King though.
I mean, truthfully, it's not that bad. So homeboy came home. Oh, I fucked up. I fucked up. Technical difficulties, y'all. 'Cause look, homeboy came home, had himself a little meal, right? Had himself a couple bags of chips. You know what I mean? He was chilling there. Yeah, okay. He drank a water and fell asleep. I don't know what that is.
It's
That looks
trash
like
on
a
the
shit
floor
rag.
though.
It looks like a shit rag.
But like I said, that's what after 20 minutes of
I mean,
cleaning.
homeboy left the pan in there. Yeah, but it don't look that bad. He left a beer, a water bottle, 3 beers, 4 beers, a water bottle,
Do
and a
you
bag of
know how
chips and a
much
plate
you
out.
could get done in 20 minutes of cleaning?
I could get the whole fucking thing done in 20 minutes of cleaning.
Exactly. So,
But I'm super saiyan when it comes to cleaning. That's like, it's spit shine.
but I'm just saying, who's to say how bad it was? But I don't know. Either way, I feel like he needs to respect everyone's space, and
I
he's
think he
not.
definitely should. He shouldn't be throwing plates at elderly women. That's not a good thing.
I think he
Stop
was only
being
throwing
violent.
plates at his sister.
No, he said that he threw a plate at the elderly women. Oh, even then, you shouldn't throw plates at your sister. You know, we throw lemons and things that won't kill you. Don't throw a plate, like, overboard. It's overkill.
It's
I think he
pretty.
got babied for way too long, and he's got that baby syndrome.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, no, bad roommate. Bad roommate for sure. I agree with her. Bad roommate. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, comment, do all the good shit, ring the bell, get the notifications. We love y'all. We'll see you next time.